Hey, hey. Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Let's go.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. And this morning the vibe is hot and it's heating up because we're talking about Carnival 2023, the February edition here on the island of Tobago. Now there are a number of things happening both in the east and in the west. And if you missed it prior to this break, I was chatting with Mrs. Shirley Cook, who is the president of the Crown Point Business Association, and she was telling us a bit about what's happening down on the west in regards to that Crown Point Juve on Monday. But even before that, there's a lot of things that are happening in the lead up, and they are happening in Tobago East. And this morning, I have the pleasure of chatting with Mr. Jessie Taylor, who is the Cultural Officer 2 at the Division of Tourism, Culture and Antiquities. And Mr. Jessie Taylor, when you are here, it's always a pleasure to chat with you because you always bring the good energy and the good vibes. Yeah. And we see you brought the Valentine's pink out this morning.
Yes, try my best.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And so you are in charge of Carnival in Tobago East.
No, I'm not. The Tobago Festivals Commission, and I am a part of the Winward Carnival Development Committee, the committee is chaired by Mr. Steve Jack. I operate in the capacity as vice chair and share whatever experience I would have had gained over the years in building out what is another phase of Carnival in Tobago. Hopefully it's going to be one that's going to be a little more impressive than those we've had before.
Okay. Well, we see that this February Carnival has been a bit feedback driven because you guys had first put out a proposal at first of what Carnival in the East and West can look like. And then we had some feedback coming from the public, some changes being made.
Yes, to Juve.
And then a final proposition being made for what Carnival is looking like. Tell us a bit about the whole process and why it was important for you guys to focus on the feedback this time around.
Sure. So certainly we encourage and have always embraced the stakeholders, and our collaboration with them is what has brought us to this fruitful end. It's a delight for me to say that we've been having such excellent collaboration, and the outreach has really been good. And so the product that we think we'll be able to showcase over the next couple of days should be something that's very much more refreshing and somehow at least a deliberate attempt to make it more rejuvenated, because we remain committed to the development of culture and the arts, and in this particular case, the Carnival culture. And in the East, we take pride in all the things we do. And so that starting on Thursday, the 16th, we have the Junior Carnival Extravaganza titled Jewels in the Sun. And that's where all our youths on the island on the eastern end of Tobago will have a chance to compete in various areas of Little Miss Afro Queen, Junior Miss Afro Queen, traditional carnival characters. They will also have an opportunity to do speech band, old mass, and calypso. So in a sense, it's a junior Carnival Fiesta, and I'm happy to say that we have partnered with Bermuda's, who is a part sponsor in some of these activities we'll be having over the next couple of days.
Excellent. And we're talking Mass on the Move. What exactly is Mass on the Move?
So Mass on the Move is a project out of the hat I wear as Cultural Officer 2 under the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. And it really is an attempt to move the mass in a very literal form through the islands of Tobago. So far we have done several of the schools. Amongst them we've had WIM, we had Black Rock. Yesterday we would have done Bethesda and Plymouth, and today we go off to Montgomery. Additionally, we have pegged to that itinerary through the schools. We have a collaboration with TPAC in the Yardway, and we also have placement of the same art in the extravaganza on the 16th. So we are moving through Tonga. We even have a cruise ship experience on Wednesday, and then Friday we are through Tonga again, and we'll be roving, taking the mass to the people. If Mohammed can't go to the mountain, then the mountains will certainly go to Mohammed.
All right. And so what exactly is happening in the school? Is it an education-driven
It
campaign?
certainly is. It's about I build most of what I do on the intergenerational transfer of the knowledge. Our culture must be retained, it must be showcased, but we need to provide a platform for that. The attempts of the division and the department is exactly to do that, to develop, harness, create the content, and then as we monitor it, we evaluate it. And by evaluation, we recognize that sometimes we need to go directly to where it happens, where it can originate. So in a sense, we are building expectation, desire, and exposing people to what their true potential may be, as well as creating an avenue for economic diversification, entrepreneurship, and innovation.
Right. And you spoke about elements of that school intervention and engagement being a part of the Friday activities in the East. So is it a competition that's happening?
The competition happens on Thursday, the 16th. Friday, we actually are about in the major city, in the capital of Tobago. And then Saturday, we move to the Winward Afro Queen show, where we see the crowning of the new Miss Afro Queen show, winner, who the show would have been absent because of COVID and for the last 2 years. And that's why we have Miss the reigning Afro Queen here with us today.
And we were just about to go to that. I was just about to let our viewers know that you brought this beautiful young lady
Yes,
here
talented,
to
gifted
totally
woman of
brighten up this
substance, yes.
set. Right? Her crown is blinding us this morning.
Some lucky woman.
Yes,
young lady
and so we
wear
have
that.
Miss Aaliyah Goddard, who is the reigning Miss Afro Queen. And so we didn't have Afro Queen for a number of, was it two years? 2 years consecutively because of the pandemic. And so you reign longer than most queens that
Yes.
have ever existed. So,
Yes.
yes, so how has your reign been?
I would say that my reign has been short due to the pandemic because I wasn't able to enjoy it as I hoped to. But because I know that we went online, I was able to donate few tablets to my primary school to help those in need. So I'm really glad that I did that and I could have helped in some way.
So how are you feeling with the fact that the Afro Queen show, the Winward Afro Queen show, is continuing to go on? How does it impact the young women within your community?
I am extremely happy that it was able to get back on track this year because I learned a lot of stuff that is still useful for me now. So stuff like prioritizing tasks, how I am balancing my schoolwork with rehearsals, having rehearsals and then rushing home to do homework and stuff. You know, I think it's important for all the young ladies that participating in the competition because, you know, you're learning about friendship, you're learning about being under pressure. Like some people didn't know, like during my performance on stage, I twist my ankle, I was in a lot of pain, but, you know,
You have to keep going.
yeah. So
Right, that's the resilience that comes out of the type of competition that the
yeah.
Winward Afro Queen show would allow for the young ladies. Now, tell me, this upcoming competition on Saturday, why should people be sure to come out?
One word, it's just gonna be amazing. The ladies this year, they are beautiful, they are talented, and you're just going to have a good experience overall. You know, Mr. Taylor, he ensures that things will be perfect, so you're not to expect anything less.
Okay, so what is the show going to look like? What is the format of the show going to look
Well,
like?
that's me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, yes.
So this year, Chanel, we were challenged in how do we move, having had COVID. And over the years, somehow, in my opinion, we have moved off the course. Now, the Miss World Afro Queen show really stemmed from, which is over 5 decades old, really stemmed from the desire to retain our African folkways and to present it not just as a street theater, but to be able to use it as to how we make our women and empower our women to find their way in the world. And we've seen that today, how the women have really become equal, and in some cases they have they occupy now what was considered traditionally to be a man's desk or feet. So the show this year is titled Celebration of a Rich Legacy, because we are powerful people. We are inextricably linked to our traditional cultural belief, a practice of our rituals and the way of life. And we wanted to inculcate that amongst the things that we teach this, what we consider the new generation. So it's Road to Glory, and we are celebrating using the tribes of Africa. So each of the young ladies would have picked a particular tribe, and they will portray elements of that tribe, both in casual attire, which is designed to be a wearable art. So what we are doing, we are also creating the spirit of innovation and gendering a sense of newness while we reflect on the past, like the Sankofa custom. We are using the principles to show how you can move forward with a legacy that can be comfortable. So we would hope to inspire people to be more comfortable in the way they dress and how they can embody the custom without being too native. And so that the show this year is going to also have good Calypsonians because be the finals of the Calypso Monarch as well. And we'll have good entertainment. We're going to be showcasing what Tobago is made of, celebrating the legacy of our great icons, our Calypso Rose and Lord Nelson and the Shadow, and how they have used their God-given ability to shape the way they have eventually become and how they have evolved through the passage of time.
Excellent. And so we talk about the tribes and the connection that the young women have to make with the tribes of Africa. Is it that the tribes were chosen and they pick one, or they had to go and do
No, they
their
probably
own
tried. So what we
research?
did was, and this was Diana as well. Diana, what she was one of the persons who were instrumental in this. So what they pulled together a series of tribes, and then we got together, and each young lady had to pick one of these tribes, and that was what was remarkable because they then had to go research these tribes, and then come up with the literature, the language, the custom, the folklore, their handicraft, where they're located, and to be able to, because they are also going to introduce themselves and talk about these said tribes as well. And they have been actively preparing, which you can see, they have been teaching how to personality, makeup, ethics, wardrobe coordination. We have had the girls, they have benefited from motivational speeches. They have really been our carnival arts. They have been taught our legacy, and that's truly what this show is about, celebrating our legacy.
And it is very admirable that you guys made sure to have that educational element
Exactly.
attached, so that it's not just about going on stage and waving and wearing a crown and
No.
looking nice, but it is also about the educational aspect of it,
Yes.
allowing them to understand their culture from the roots
Yes.
to where we are now
Precisely.
here in Tobago, because we see a number of the traditional characters,
Yes, and
carnival
that's
characters
important because they
being
too
taught.
came out of the post-emancipation period, and that's where it really took to the streets. And on the night, we will be doing an aspect of the Jamaican Carnival as well. We owe it, to our future generation to not be lost, and so that our legacy must be put forward there. And that's the commitment of the Tobago House of Assembly, the division of that in tourism, where we ensure, in this case, we are taking the entire village to raise the queen. You'll be able to do your own makeup. You'll be able to tie your own head. You should be able to go back to your community and be able to help and to so inspire somebody else to walk the road that you once took, and hopefully leads to a path. And then we did the photo shoot in Castara, because as you know, Castara won the Best United Nations, Best Tourism World upgrade, one of the groups, and the only village on this side to have won that. So there's a very strong tourism element in that as well. We ensure and try to ensure that we place the tourism product at the feet and at the mouth of consumption for the 101 reasons why you could be able to come to Tobago.
And so the Winward Afro Queen Show has traditionally concentrated on the villages in Tobago East. Are you guys planning
It's still the same way.
Are you guys planning to expand that throughout the island? And especially the fact that we are all African, a lot more predominantly African women throughout the island.
the Assistant Secretary, and I really want to say this morning that Miss Megan Morrison has been such a tower of encouragement and strength. She is so in tune with the culture because of the background. She has really ensured that we have the latitude to practice. And one of the things she's even suggested, because she was part of the reason why we had Bermudas as well, the people who are assisting in the sponsorship, she offered us an opportunity to examine the possibility of having a Miss Leeward. So we possibly will have, because the intention was always to retain the Winward element in the shows. And we've had villages over the years, and now we continue to strengthen that. But each of the girls is from a represented district, village, or group. And for the first time, we actually have a Miss Cologne Golden Lead. So it's really
So
growing.
for clarity, there's no thought that the
Not
Winward
at the
women are more
moment, no.
Africanesque.
That's why it's called the
That
Miss Winward Afro Queen.
Right,
For people from
excellent.
the
And
Winward or
so we
affiliated with
look
groups in the
forward to these activities happening. And you said that you guys are coming down into Scarborough as well.
Yes, so in Scarborough on Friday, we will be taking what is called Mass and Move the Carnival Footprints. We intend to walk through the length and breadth of Scarborough and present various aspects of our mass, our music, our tradition, folkways, our carnival heritage legacy, which is a compliment for the what is dubbed as the mother of all carnival. The children, babies, are going to be through town, the streets of town. And then Saturday, we move the rocks one. Sunday, kiddies. Monday, traditional senior mass festivities and mass.
So is it that Mass and the Move that we are going to see on Friday is going to have a little taste of everything else that's happening?
It
Are we
will
going
have,
to see
yes,
the
all
Winward
the
Queens
characters.
as well going to be a part of that parade
It's a
through Scarborough?
possibility, but we also want to give the Queens some time to really prepare for the show on Saturday. And we have been, as you see, drilling them a bit. So it's something that can happen once we find the way to do it, because their next scheduled appearance is at the Interdepartment, which is also part of the Tobago House of Assembly's calendar of events in the Carnival calendar of events in Tobago 2023.
Excellent. And well, I mean, unfortunately, that's all the time we have this morning.
That's
but
fine.
thank you so much for
It's always
coming.
a
And
pleasure.
Aliyah, Miss Godad, thank you so much for wearing the crown with such beauty and
With
grace.
a lot of
Thank
grace,
you.
beauty,
Right,
and
you
charm.
have served well, and I am sure that you are happy to pass on to another young woman, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share, or anybody else that you want to shout out on this journey that you have had as Miss Winward Afro Queen?
Well, I would like to thank God, most of important. I would like to thank Mr. Taylor because he was then my chaperone at that time. I would like to thank my parents. I would like to thank my grandmother. I had so much support. So if I forget to call anyone's name, I am appreciative of everyone who helped me on this journey. It was amazing. And I want to wish all the queens good luck. Everyone will not be able to be a winner, but just make sure that all the stuff that you learned, as Mr. Taylor said, that you take it so that you will be able to pass it on. So, the future generations, to your friends at school, because the tradition can't die. Have to continue.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So well spoken, so young, yet eloquent, graceful. And this is the kind of product that comes out of
Precisely.
the Winward
In
Afro.
Winward from the East. And you know they say the wise people
Come from the East. All right, guys, thank you. Be sure to stay tuned because we have one more interview for you right after the break. See you soon.
Thank you.
Tobago updates.